Hello friends, this is Jen. We are on for some yoga today. Hope everyone is safe and feeling cozy. I know not only in Chicago are we getting some cold weather, but also in Texas. I really feel for the Texans right now because it's difficult. Like even here every year, like we get this snow, we get this cold. We know that it's going to happen, but it's almost like a shock every single time. You have to remember what it's like. And of course, out there in Texas, if you've never experienced that, that's not part of your regular seasonal occurrence. It's quite difficult. So I hope everyone is as safe and as warm as you can possibly be. We are doing some yoga today. I will be the first to admit that my quads are burning so badly. So I think we're going to do a little bit of quad stuff. Of course, if you have any suggestions as to what you want to do, let me know. But I think we'll be a little bit focusing on the lower half with slightly more stretch than strength today. So you get a heads up. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I mentioned last time that Scotty made a great suggestion that, like, you know, when we're doing like neck stuff or whatever, it's really helpful when there's that second session to reinforce neck mobility or whatever it is that we're focusing on. So we will still do a little bit of neck and posture stuff every single time. Again, hopefully chip away at it, let our bodies become more familiar with that whole range of motion and that positioning, even just to make that a little bit more natural so that we can always find that lifted, tall spine, open chest. All right, so let's start with left leg crossed in front of right, just in a really comfortable, natural seat. Your hands on either side, palms up, palms down, doesn't matter. Take a moment here to close down your eyes. Settle yourself into your space. Actively lower your shoulders down away from your ears. Take the time to breathe deep, full inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, relax your face, your cheeks, your jaw. Again, relax your shoulders down away from your ears. One more time, full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Good. Keeping your eyes closed and your face facing me, just let your right shoulder, or your head, drop over toward your right shoulder. So your face is still facing me. You're just letting your head tilt over to the right hand side. Build this stretch along the left side of your neck. And then from here, keeping your head heavy over to your right, do a gentle tuck of your chin downward, still with your head heavy over to your right, so that stretch starts to migrate over to the back side, left side of your neck. And then begin to start to tilt your chin upward, still with your head heavy over toward your right side. Feel the stretch shift over to the front side, closer to your throat. That one more time. Through center, let your chin go to a tuck with your head still heavy, dropped over to your right hand side. And last time, do a little tilt, chin up. Nice. And then return to neutral with your head dropped over to your right, your face facing the front of your space. One more breath in through your nose. Feel how long and tall your spine is, even with your head dropped over to your right. And on your exhale, still relax your shoulders down away from your ears and return your head back into center, neutral. Your next breath, let your head fall over to your left shoulder, still with your face facing me. And if at any point in time this is confusing instruction-wise, definitely just feel free to open your eyes. And then as we move into this left-hand side, it might feel like your neck is a little bit reluctant to bend in this fashion, stretch in this fashion. So let's give it a little bit of time. On your inhale, think long through your spine. On your exhale, still long through your spine, maybe your head a little bit heavier falling over to your left. Now keeping your head heavy over to your left shoulder, tuck your chin in toward, closer to your left collarbone, I would say. Feel the stretch go through the back right side of your neck. And then start to gently tilt your chin upward. Find the stretch slowly shift toward the front right of your throat. Good. And again, as you pass through the center, still head heavy over to your left. Let your chin tuck. Still long through your spine. Maybe you have deeper range of motion. And then one more tilt of your chin upward toward the ceiling. So good. And then gently lower your chin to neutral, still with your head heavy over to your left. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. On your inhale, see if you can find length, find balance, even with your head heavy over to your left. Shoulders even, you can trust that even with your eyes closed. And on your exhale, feel your shoulders soften, relax. A little bit squeeze of your blades as you relax your shoulders back. One more time. Full deep inhale. Long, slow exhale. Good. In your next inhale, bring your head back through center so now your spine is fully tall, fully in alignment. And we'll take one breath here as if I'm pulling the crown of your head up toward the ceiling. Exhale it out. So good. From here, open your eyes. Let's lean back a little bit. Switch out your legs, right leg crossed in front of our left. So a little bit of posture stuff. From here, squeeze your blades together. Open your chest. Notice if your spine starts to aggressively arch on you, bring that in, still squeeze your blades. From this place, send your arms out so your forearms are now in the same plane as your back, and then send your elbows out back behind you even farther. Check. Spine hasn't started to aggressively arch. You're still in a neutral plane. Tall spine, send your forearms back farther. As you hug your elbows in toward your center line, see if your elbows can stay off of your back, right? So there's a little bit of space between your arms and your back as you squeeze your elbows in toward your center line. From this place with your elbows squeezed, send your forearms back a little bit farther, and then keeping your arms back as far as possible. This is not going to be particularly pleasant. Start to lift your arms up, still as if you cannot touch that space, that plane of where your spine is, right? So still that space. And then keeping your arms behind the plane of your back, start to lift your arms up higher. Your arms might go straight. For me, my arms stay bent. Notice if you start to arch. Rein it back in, pull your navel in tight. Once you're at your highest, most point with arms either straight or bent, take again a moment to lengthen your spine, squeeze your blades, draw your arms farther back behind you. Now, as if you want to scrape this farther back wall with your arms, push back as you gently lower your arms back down, your elbows back down toward the same line as your hips. Still elbows off of your body. We'll do that again. Slow, but so much work. Make it active as you push your arms, forearms back, not allowing ourselves to arch. Squeeze your blades. And then as wide of an arc back behind you as you can manage, you continue to squeeze your blades. Keep your arms back as far as possible as you guide your arms all the way back up to your highest, most point. That might not look like mine. It might be straighter arms. It might be arms more bent than what you see. We'll do that one more time. Take your arms back. Scrape the back wall as you gently guide your elbows down. You feel each step of the way. Squeeze your blades. Maintain a tall spine without letting your arch start to form in your low back. And then once you reach that bottommost point, again, push your forearms back behind. This is your final round. Push back as far as possible as you squeeze your blades. Take time, move slowly so you feel each step of the way the sensations of the squeeze of your blades, the openness of your chest. Take one more breath here. Send your arms back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, we stay. Your next inhale, just come up into neutral, arms all the way up wherever they are. And push it out, right, left, lower, down. It's so funny, that movement, let's hinge forward, is so slow and controlled, but feels like kind of like terrible. So you're in a kneeling position here. Let's start with scooting our hips over to this right hand side and allow your left leg to come forward just for a quick little hamstring stretch. Flex your left foot hard. Feel the skin of your knee kind of pulling into your quad. Lift up tall, open your chest, and gently hinge from here. Take an inhale, open your chest, just that similar tall spine that we just practiced. Send your hips farther back as you hinge. Lengthen out through your crown. We'll stay one more breath here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge a little bit deeper. So good. From this place, as you come up, flatten out the sole of your left foot against the floor. Come up onto your right knee, and then send this right leg back a little bit farther. My toes, right toes, are tucked at the moment. I'm just looking for a good space where I can melt my hips. Check your left knee is not going beyond your left ankle too much. Open your chest, and then maybe you flatten out the top of your right foot against the floor. From here, keep your chest open. Your hands can be on either side or back behind. Maintain the length in your spine. Shift forward to the soft part, fleshy part of your right thigh. Then squeeze your right heel in toward your glute. And then lengthen, go straighten. Take your time. Open your chest, melt your hips. Go squeeze your heel into your glutes. And gently release. One more time. Squeeze your heel into your glutes. From here, keep your right hand down. Make it a firm stance with your right palm. Melt your hips. And take your left hand. This is your kind of mildest option, right? You can stay right here with your heel squeezed in, or you can take your left hand, reach around back behind, hold on, and then use your left hand, the pull, to bring your heel in closer. As you do this, sometimes our hips naturally come out of it. Lower your hips down, melt into it a little bit deeper. Depending on your range of motion, you know your body best. For me, as I do this lungy motion, my left knee starts to creep over my left toes a little bit. For me, my body is okay with this situation. You decide if range of motion wise this is not for you, step your left foot more forward so you're at a more of a 90-degree angle. If you can manage it, start to open your chest over towards your left thigh. Continue to melt your hips. Continue to use your strong left arm to pull your heel in closer. One more breath, lengthen. Exhale, twist, open your chest, draw your left shoulder back a little bit more. Good. Gently release. So let go of your right leg. Give yourself a quick break. Start to walk these hands up onto your left thigh. Melt your hips again, open your chest again. Inhale, arms lift up high toward the ceiling. Continue to melt your hips. Grab a hold of your right wrist and check. I'm already being super rib cagey. Pull your navel in tight. You can't really see with my shirt. It's kind of baggy today. Lean over to your left-hand side, but really find a little bit of engagement here so we're not letting our belly kind of splay open over our thigh, right? And this has nothing to do with your belly size. It's really just the activity, right? So you want to find some activity as you lean over to your left. Find some stretch down the right side hip flexor. One more breath in. Keep it together. One more breath out. Lean a little bit farther out to your left. Very good. Gently come back up through center and then release these arms, hands back onto your thigh. So, just like we did earlier, shift forward so you're more toward the fleshy part of your right thigh, and then bend your right leg just like we did earlier. Heel comes into your glutes. Now listen, if your knee does not like this, you can place a towel underneath your right knee and gently release. Good, a couple more times. Usually I'm on carpet, so it definitely feels a little bit better on carpet. Not gonna lie. Squeeze your heel in. And gently release. We'll do one more time. I'm gonna keep it together. Squeeze, heel in, hold. Now, you can again stay right here. Alternatively, you can lower your left forearm onto your left thigh, which also for me, because my quads feel super tight, this feels like a good massage for my left quad. See if you can reach your right hand for your right arch side of your foot. Continue to melt your hips so you're shifting forward into the softer part, fleshier part of your right thigh. And then my right arm is straight at the moment, so it's not, I'm not using it at all, right? I want to use the leverage of my right arm to hopefully squeeze my heel in closer. So see if you can find that place, a good squeeze, heel into glutes, hold. Use this strong right arm. If you can manage your toes and your fingers in the same direction, giving you a better placement for bending this arm and pushing into your foot, find that place. Make sure you're not sickling out through your toes. Your toes are straight. Hold for 4, for 3. Melt your hips best you can for 2, for 1. Gently let go of this foot. Ooh. Return your hands back down. Push this away, left hand inside of your left foot, and we'll swing this left knee back. You're back in a kneeling position. Okay. Shift your body weight a little bit to your left, and then let's send this right leg forward. Good little hamstring stretch to start. Take an inhale, open your chest. Remember all those strong posture muscles that we worked earlier, maintain that as you gently hinge. Good, one more inhale here, lengthen, open your chest. And as you hinge deeper, think about sending your tail back farther. So sometimes we just think down, down, down. I like to think of the forward folds as a deeper hinge. So send your hips back, flex harder through your right foot, and it makes it such that if you have all those details in place, you don't need to hinge super, super deeply, to feel a whole bunch of feelings through your right side hamstring. Good. From this place, let's inhale, lift ourselves back up. Flatten out the sole of your right foot against the floor, and let's come up into, I'm actually gonna face this side still. So we're coming into sort of an Anjaneyasana, but kneeling position. Find your good stance. This is definitely wider than 90. I'm just letting my hips melt. All right, feel how that feels. Do a little bit of hip movement maybe if that feels nice. Good. Continue to open up through your chest. Stay long through your spine. Shift forward into the fleshier part of your backside knee. Melt your hips. From this place, your back foot, heel, squeeze it into your glutes. Good. This is quite active. And gently return. Control your descent of your left foot. Yes. Twice more. Open your chest, melt your hips. Go squeeze your heel into your glutes. Ooh. And gently release. It's so interesting though, because I've been taking a lot of classes these days. Squeeze your heel into your glutes, go in. And I feel like oftentimes the instructor is teaching what they feel is like difficult. And they're like, oh my gosh, this hurts so badly. But it's a lot of projection, right? My quads feel particularly tight today. Maybe yours don't. All right, you can stay right here with your heel squeezed into your glute. You might start that twisting action, your left hand firmly planted into the floor. But take advantage of it if your quads don't feel super tight today. Oh, that's like heaven. So take advantage and see if you might be able to even go a little bit deeper. Okay, so I'm gonna take my right hand, reach for my left foot. If this grip is difficult to access, just go ahead and reach for like a scarf, a hoodie, whatever it is, wrap it around your foot to start to bring this foot in a little bit closer. As you reach for this foot, notice if your hip has popped up. You wanna melt your hips down, and this will help as you get your left top of thigh closer to the floor. It should feel mildly like more comfortable, right, as opposed to the hard part of your knee. Use your right arm. Instead of a straight arm, you want to bend it so you can actually bring your heel in closer. Find a good place. Squeeze your heel into glute. Make sure nothing funny feels funny in your left knee. For some reason mine does. So I'm going to squeeze in. Be gentle with it. Open your chest. Allow your hips to melt. I think like when it comes to building our stretches, there are a couple of factors. One, of course, is just testing our edge. But two, a lot of it, to make that number one part work, is just spending time in it. So even if you feel like you're not going, quote unquote, very deep, trust that the more time you spend in that particular position, the better, the more familiar your body will be with it. And hopefully, as we practice more and more, it starts to feel like you can make some gains, have a bit more access. All right, let's gently release this foot and then start to bring your hands up toward your thigh. Good, continue to melt your hips. As you melt your hips on this particular side, it's easy for our hips to splay open to our left. So think of drawing your right hip back, pushing your left hip slightly forward as you melt your hips. Inhale, arms go all the way up high. Remember, you want to find that activity so our belly is not just kind of relaxed over our thigh. Lift. Reach for your left wrist. Lengthen up tall. And gentle side body stretch out to your right hand side. Good, we'll take one more breath here. Inhale, lift, think about drawing your right hip back, push your left hip slight forward, and gently lean over to this right hand side. Good stretch for our left side hip flexor. Good stretch for our left side body. And then good practice to keep our core strong as we're in this slightly wobbly situation. Gently release, and release your hands. Bring your hands over to your thigh. Push away, melt your hips. We're continuing on here. Shift your body weight forward best you can. Squeeze your left heel into your glute, open your chest, and gently release. Remember, if your left knee hurts, you can totally place something underneath it. Drop your shoulders, open your chest. Again, squeeze your heel into your glutes, and gently release. The good thing about posture muscles is that we have all this opportunity to work on them. Squeeze your heel in, like during the course of our daily lives, like every single moment. Take your right forearm down. We'll do same side hand this foot, and we can always stay right here, right? Maybe your right forearm on your right thigh gives you like a really nice massage as well. Your left hand can reach for your left foot maybe. And then if you have access, you might flip so your fingers are facing the same direction as your toes to give you more leverage to squeeze your heel in. The interesting thing is, for whatever reason, that very first quad stretch we did for this particular thigh or side, that one's like the quote unquote milder one, but that did not feel good to me today. This one, which is probably slightly more like challenging just to set up, feels a little bit better to me. It doesn't make my knee feel wonky. So really, we always stay flexible with these different things that people tell us, whether somebody tells you this is like the mild version, this is the more challenging version. That may be true for the vast majority of people, but maybe in your body that is not the exact case. So you stay flexible, you take what people say and try it, but ultimately you know your body best, and you decide what is the right position and what gives you the best stretch. Gently, gently, let's let go of this foot. All right, you're here back into your open chest, melting hip situation. Take your right hand inside of this right foot, push the floor away a little bit, and return your right knee down onto the floor. You're in a kneeling position. All right, from here on your next inhale, lift your arms up, come up onto your knees. And exhale, push it out right, left, lower it down. This in and of itself is just a little bit of quad strengthening. Inhale, go arms up, and of course, our core and our posture muscles, and lower down. All right, take your right hand to your right hip as you come up. Give yourself just a little stretch down the left side of your body, and gently lower it down. Switch it, left hand to your left hip, reach your right arm up. And gently lower down. Listen, we're combining what we just did with our quad stretch. This is, again, slightly aggressive. If you already know your knees don't feel really good, place something softer underneath your knees. Okay, so right hand goes to your right hip, extend your left arm up. You're in like kind of a mild twisting situation here. See if you might be able to bend your right leg up. Right, so your right heel is coming in closer to your hip, your chest is opening up toward the right hand side. Maybe this is a lot, you stay right here. Maybe you can take your right hand to your right foot and squeeze your right heel in. You've done this before. We've done it just in a slightly different context, half hero. As you squeeze your heel into your glute, there's a lot of like pressure here, so find a good place that gives you the best leverage, and continue to send your left arm up. Continue to push your right hand forward into your right foot. One more breath, lift, beautiful, beautiful, and stay, good, good, good. And gently, let's return just as mindfully as we did earlier. No big deal. Sometimes I feel like I try to keep, like, even when a posture feels a little bit difficult, I try to stay real calm so my body doesn't have this reaction every time I go into it. It should just be like, okay, this is just as chill, just as easy as anything else. All right, your next inhale, let's take left hand to hip, and again, we're pushing, finding this place. Remember, these are all options, right? Ultimately, if like this doesn't feel right in your body for whatever reason, right? You don't need to explain it to anybody. You don't need to even explain it to yourself. It might be just the day. You can back off, do something different. If this feels okay, start to bend your left leg so your heel starts to come in closer to your glute. I'll do it kind of dramatically right now, but notice if your toes kind of turn inward, right? So you have a sickled foot. Now, of course, I'm cramping. But you want your foot to still be fairly straight, right? So you're not sickling inward. All right, so now that it's straight, I'm gonna take my left hand, reach for the top of my left foot. And again, notice this left arm, because it's straight, I'm actually not doing anything with it. I wanna make it a little bit more active. So, see if you can manipulate it such that you have some good leverage with a bent left arm to squeeze your heel in even closer as you extend your right arm up. Spend a couple moments here, especially as you're pushing in dramatically with your left hand. Notice if there is any sickling situation down your left foot. Take one more breath. Lift. Yes. And gently, very carefully, release out of it. Good. From there, separate your heels, enough space for your bottom to fit right through. So as I mentioned, when we just did this last thing, it's very similar to our hero position, and we've done it, this hero position, in half hero, where only one leg is like this and the other leg is straight or bent or whatever, but basically not in this position. So as we explore these different options, especially when it comes to such a large muscle, our quads, play around with these different options and see what works better for you. I feel like it just depends, and to have more options, to have more resources is always a really good thing, right? Just depending on what activities we've done, what our body needs. If this feels okay to you and you'd like to continue a little bit farther, you don't have to. You start to bring your hands to the soles of your feet. Make sure your butt's on the floor, your knees squeezed together and down to the floor. So the soles of your feet, hands on the soles of your feet, fingers facing forward. And if this still feels good, you start to lower one elbow down, the other elbow down. Keep your knees pressed up. Let your head tip back, top of your head to the floor. Start to slide your elbows forward. Let the base of your neck touch the floor. Stop anywhere along the way. Continue to press your knees down. We'll hang out here just for one more breath. If this still feels okay, reach your arms, your elbows over your head, and you reach for opposite elbows. Press your knees down. One more breath. In through your nose. Out through your nose. Good. Your next inhale, hands onto your feet. Use your elbows. Push yourself back up. Good. And then swing your hips over to whichever side. Let your legs straighten, lengthen, and just do a little bit of a shake. Excellent work. A lot of these things that are a little bit slower definitely cultivate patience for ourselves. And I know I'm somebody who tends to go a little fast when and strength-wise, all that stuff, lean in that direction. But it's funny, it's really nice to have this balance of yoga, which encourages me to go a lot slower, have patience, and I've found that it's translated into my climbing quite a bit too. So I'm always kind of moving slowly, deliberately, with control, all that stuff, to the best of my abilities. All right, let your legs be natural, whether you want to flex or point your toes or let them just hang out is perfect. Take an inhale, arms go all the way up high toward the ceiling. As you lift your arms, remember not to overarch. Exhale, here we go, lift your chest up, elbows out. Send your chest up toward the ceiling, cactus. Inhale, go arms up, return to our neutral spine and push it out right, left. lower it all the way down. Good work today. Way to work a little bit of quad stuff, but also reinforcing our posture stuff is always so good. Let's take this with us for the rest of the day so our bodies remember. The more time we can spend with a little bit of a squeeze of our blades, a little bit of openness through our chest, the more our bodies remember and find it to be more natural. All right, have a great rest of your day. Tomorrow we are on for some cardio things. So quick, fast. Idea is to keep our heart rate elevated and build some cardio endurance. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you soon. Bye, my friends.